All right, good morning. We're here at Coffee with Greg again, Being Here at Coffee in Sienna Plantation, Missouri City. Thanks for being here. We've got a constituent here, Jake, who wants to ask some questions, and that's what this is all about. So, Jake, fire away.
Thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with me. I was going through your website and I noticed you're pro Second Amendment, and I was wondering if could you talk a little bit about your stance on guns?
So, I am pro Second Amendment. I'm a hunter, and I'm also a former U.S. Border Patrol agent, and I like guns. I think that we don't have a gun control issue in this country as much as we have an issue as it relates to mental health, personal responsibility, and school safety. So I'll give you an example. As a judge, I had law enforcement officers that would come into my office and ask for a search warrant that I signed based on probable cause and the affidavit that they swore to, or a blood draw, for example, if someone got a DWI. Those things were based on probable cause, and it's actual facts that have occurred to suggest a crime has occurred, and therefore something needs to be done. You take, for example, red flag laws currently. I don't feel comfortable taking away someone's Second Amendment right. Justice Thomas has said it's the constitutional stepchild of the Bill of Rights, and I don't think it's right to take away someone's Second Amendment right for a future crime that may or may not occur. In this country, as you know, we're innocent until proven guilty, and it's an important right that we should have, and we should preserve and protect that right. So that's my stance as it relates to the Second Amendment and gun control. Yeah.
As a lifelong resident of Congressional District 22, what separates you from the other candidates, and what made you decide to run?
So I'm running just to humbly serve those that I love here in CD 22. I mean, I've been serving this community and this district for the last decade. What sets me apart, I'm the only candidate in this race that has legislative experience. No other candidate in this race has balanced a budget, has cut taxes, has prioritized spending. Those are important things that you need to do when you get up there. And when I say you need to do it, the reason I say that is because I think it's the greatest threat to our nation, the national debt. That's one thing that sets me apart. I'm also a former U.S. Border Patrol agent, former judge, former associate municipal court judge for a city in the district, three-term Pearland City Council member and mayor pro tem, former high school Spanish teacher. My resume, how are you? My resume speaks for itself, and this is a job application. There's no better way to ascertain who the right candidate is without looking at first who that candidate is on paper, and then doing what you're doing now and engaging with that candidate. Find out if they have the charisma to win in November. We have to keep this district red, and you need someone that doesn't have any baggage and also has the ability to win it for us in November. So, great question, and I hope that answers it.
Good, thank you so much. So one of the things that I've heard you mention before is people over politics, and I think that's really important. And can you just explain a little bit about what you mean when you say people over politics?
Yeah, so we've had representatives in the past that have focused on themselves and not the people they represent. And so I don't like that, and most don't like that, and it's time to move on. I think that we should have effective leaders. And if you have someone that's focused on themselves as a representative, then they're not an effective leader, and it's going to bleed down into the district. So I've got endorsements from 47 elected officials throughout the district. Those are relationships that I've established, and that's the reason why I have those endorsements. This campaign has been focused on real people, not people that are just necessarily really connected. And I think that's the difference. I mean, it's important to make sure that you're representing people, listening to their concerns and needs, and not from a policy ideation standpoint necessarily, but just from a constituent services standpoint. If you're focused on politics and not people, then you're not going to be focused on addressing those constituent services needs. It could be something like you lost your passport, or it could be you need to address something with the Social Security Department. Whatever the case may be, but you need to be there. You should be responsive, not just when you run for office, but also when you're in office. And that's the difference maker. You're not going to get that if you focus on politics first. All right. So, as I've said before, let me know what's important to you, because it's important to me. Send me your questions at coffee@electgreghill.com, and we'll see you soon.